Chapter 1: The Power of Representation. What if your voice was never heard, your face never seen, your story never told? How would that impact your life, your dreams, your aspirations? Representation, it's a simple word, but it carries a weight that is often overlooked. It's more than just a buzzword in social justice circles. It's a lens through which we see and understand our world. It's about whose voices are heard and whose stories are told. It's about seeing oneself mirrored in the media, in politics, in leadership roles, and in every other sphere of life. Consider this: what happens when a child grows up without seeing people who look like them in books, on television, or in positions of leadership? What message does that send? It subtly but powerfully communicates that they are invisible, that their stories and experiences don't matter. It's a form of exclusion that can stifle dreams and aspirations. The lack of representation is not a trivial issue. It's a pervasive problem that affects various fields. In the media, for instance, diverse voices are often sidelined. In politics, marginalized groups are often underrepresented. In corporate leadership, the lack of diversity is glaring. The statistics paint a sobering picture. But why does representation matter? It matters because we all have a right to be seen and heard. It matters because when we see people who look like us succeeding, it broadens our horizons and fuels our ambitions. It matters because diverse perspectives enrich our societies and drive innovation. And yet, despite the glaring lack of representation, there are those who rise above, who fight to be seen and heard, who push boundaries and shatter glass ceilings. They do this not just for themselves, but for the countless others who yearn to see themselves reflected in the world around them. Imagine a world where everyone's story is heard, where every face is seen, where every voice matters. That's the power of representation. Chapter 2: A Catalyst for Change. Now imagine harnessing the energy of feeling underrepresented, turning it into a driving force for change. We call it dark motivation. This concept, dark motivation, is about using the sense of being marginalized, undervalued or overlooked as fuel for one's ambition to succeed. It's about channeling the frustration of being underrepresented into constructive energy that sparks action, propels personal growth, and drives societal change. Let's delve into a few stories of individuals who have harnessed their dark motivation to blaze trails in their respective fields. These are the stories of people who refuse to be confined by the labels society placed on them, who chose to rise above the status quo and carve out their own paths. First, we recount the story of a young girl from an underprivileged background who was often overlooked in her school. She decided to channel her feelings of exclusion into her studies, working relentlessly to prove her worth. Today, she is a renowned scientist, making breakthroughs in a field traditionally dominated by men. Next, we look at the tale of an immigrant who faced discrimination and bias in his adopted country. He turned his experiences into motivation, striving to excel in his profession. Today, he is a leading entrepreneur, creating jobs and opportunities for others like him. And then, we have the story of a member of the LGBTQ+ community who was often sidelined in social and professional circles. They turned their feelings of alienation into a force for change, fighting for more inclusive policies in workplaces. Today, they are a respected advocate, contributing to a more diverse and inclusive society. These stories are a testament to the power of dark motivation. They illustrate how feelings of being underrepresented can be transformed into a potent force that drives personal and societal change. Dark motivation can be a powerful catalyst for change. It's about taking control of your narrative and refusing to be silenced. And it's a reminder that every single one of us, regardless of our backgrounds or circumstances, holds the potential to bring about change. So, let's embrace our dark motivation and use it to create a world that celebrates diversity and representation. Before we continue, remember to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll join our community of like-minded individuals. Together, we can achieve success and wealth as we learn, grow, and support each other. Click subscribe now, and let's dive back into today's topic. Chapter 3: Triumphing Over Lack of Representation. There are inspiring stories all around us of individuals and communities who have overcome the challenges of lack of representation. Imagine a world where everyone's story is told, where every voice is heard, and every face is seen. The reality, however, can often feel far from this ideal. But from the shadows of underrepresented emerge tales of triumph that inspire us to strive for a more inclusive society. Let's start with the story of a small town in the heartlands of America. For years, its communities felt unheard in the face of larger, more influential cities. They felt their unique experiences and perspectives were overlooked. But they didn't let this discourage them. Instead, they rallied together, organized town halls, and used social media to amplify their voices. Their struggle was not in vain. Today, their stories, their concerns, their triumphs are part of the national conversation. Then there's the story of a young woman, a first-generation immigrant, who shattered the glass ceiling in her field. Growing up, she rarely saw people who looked like her in positions of leadership. The lack of representation could have deterred her, but it fueled her ambition instead. She worked tirelessly, challenged stereotypes, and paved her way to the top. Today, she stands as a beacon of hope and inspiration for countless others who aspire to follow in her footsteps. And let's not forget the tale of a group of passionate activists who fought for the rights of their community, marginalized for their sexual orientation. Their journey was fraught with challenges, but they persevered. They rallied, they protested, they made their voices heard, and they won. Their victory was not just for them, but for everyone who ever felt unseen or unheard. These are but a few examples of the countless stories of triumph over lack of representation. Each struggle, each victory, is a step towards a more inclusive society. And the impact of their achievements is far-reaching. It has the power to inspire, to motivate, to change perspectives, to challenge stereotypes, and to break barriers. But it's not just about the individuals or communities who have triumphed. It's about the ripple effects of their achievements. It's about how their stories have inspired others to stand up, to speak out, to strive for change. It's about the young girl who, seeing someone who looks like her in a position of power, believes that she too can lead. It's about the marginalized community that, seeing their rights recognized, feels validated and empowered. These stories are a testament to the fact that representation is not just a dream. It's a reality that can be achieved with determination, resilience, and unity. The fight for representation is a fight we must all take part in. Because when we all see ourselves reflected in the world around us, we create a society that is richer, more diverse, and more inclusive. Because representation matters. Chapter 4: Your Role in Promoting Representation. Change starts with you. You have the power to make a difference in promoting representation. Imagine a world where each of us takes on the mantle of change. A world where we actively work towards fostering diversity and inclusion. This is not a distant utopia, but a reality that we can create together. The first step is to educate yourself. Knowledge is a formidable tool in our quest for representation. Understand the history and the current state of representation in various fields. Acknowledge the struggles of those who have been marginalized and silenced. It is only when we comprehend the depth of the issue can we begin to address it effectively. Next, use your platform, no matter how small or large, to amplify underrepresented voices. This could be your social media, your workplace, or your community. Share stories, experiences, and perspectives that have been overlooked or unheard. Take it a step further and engage in conversations, ask questions, challenge norms. Remember, every retweet, every share, every like can make a massive difference. Supporting organizations that foster diversity is another effective way to promote representation. These organizations are doing crucial work at the grassroots level, often with limited resources. Your support could be financial, but it doesn't always have to be. Volunteering your time, skills, or simply spreading the word about their work can make a significant impact. Advocacy is not a one-time act, but a continuous process. Be persistent in your efforts. Keep the conversation going. Challenge the status quo. Advocate for policies that promote diversity and inclusivity at your workplace, your school, or your local government. Lastly, but most importantly, listen and learn. Representation is not just about speaking up, but also about stepping back and making space for others to speak. It's about understanding that our experiences are not universal and being open to learning from the experiences of others. But remember, promoting representation is not a burden that you have to bear alone. Connect with like-minded individuals, form alliances, and work together towards this common goal. There is strength in unity, and together we can achieve what might seem impossible when tackled alone. So, take that first step. Whether it's sharing an article about the lack of representation in media, donating to a diversity-focused organization, or advocating for a more inclusive policy at your workplace, every step counts. Remember, your voice matters, your story matters, your representation matters. Together, we can create a world where everyone is seen, heard, and valued. Let's unlock our dark motivation and use it as a catalyst for change. For a more inclusive, diverse, and representative world. You have the power. Now it's time to use it. Thanks for watching. Embrace the shadows, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for our next video. Until then, harness the darkness and forge your path to greatness.